Hello everyone, I hope you have a nice day. I will jump right into the topics because I have to go out and I want to check out if I can find a new chair. So let's jump into the topics. The first one is a reply actually to my S Pen rant I had. And I have to give kudos to the people that said yes, they should have thought something, for example like kids, because they take sometimes the device and they could break it. I get that, I admit it. I didn't really think of that because I'm personally someone usually that never gives his phone away, or at least doesn't want to, because even for an adult I don't like to give it to a colleague or so. Not because for a phone call or something like that, yes, but I don't like people snooping in my phone, even though there's nothing really to say, but still. And I also thought back then, afterwards, I replied to some other people and I said, if you can afford yourself a note, you can afford your kids to get a tablet or something like that. But I also get it, sometimes they just grab something and they couldn't break it. Samsung could have thought of that. I'm still not going back because right now, in all the cases that it happened, it wasn't a kid involved, it was an adult that just made shit. So still, I'm not making an excuse for that because that still stands true right now. I think pretty much everyone who broke his was foolish enough, and I wouldn't just blame the kids, but yes, I get it, that can happen. And the next thing is actually involved in that. Has there to be a scandal on every flagship phone? I can't remember any time that didn't happen. On the iPhones that were bandgate, there was antenna gate. On the S6 there was some kind of water damage break at some point, I guess. Then there was some purple camera on the HTCs. Now we have this S Pen gate. Every time there is a phone on the Snapdragon 810, it was the overheating gate. That is no gate, but no, I get what you mean. Does it have to be? And who actually started this whole trend? Because there are people who say, if it's involved in something like, for example, the S Pen gate, it was most probably an iPhone user who just wants to get flame on Samsung, which can be true. But I think it more of some case there are always assholes who just try to get something to get attention. That is also one purpose. But then there's also kind of the media that always jumps on board. For example, we know Bandgate, and yes, I think he is an asshole because how much he dragged out of it. Doing this whole band, he got rid of it. And that is what I think so many, let's say, less decent people on YouTube or also on the blogs try to tear a device apart, checking for any flaw, making it public just to get the clicks, just to get the not just the money, but the eyes on everyone's, to get bigger. So I don't think that's okay, but let me know what you think. Who's to blame for all the gates? Is it the user who's finding the stuff? Is it the company who just makes his flaws? But still, it can happen all the time. So, or is it the media who actually drives this even further and gives it the hype? Because they could just ignore it, keeping it low, but it seems like they push it even more than they have to. The next topic would be, we got new kind of leaks or so from Avi Leaks, I think, or I don't know, I don't know who it was, I think he found it on the Z5 that should appear on IFA. And what's to think about? From what we get out of this document or from this Google, I think it was a Facebook post, there is supposed to be a Z5 compact with 4.6 inches. I think it was 720p if I remember correctly. Then there's supposed to be a normal Z5, 5.2 inches, 1080p. Sounds nice, but I will get to that a little bit later. And then there is supposed to be a Z5 Premium with 5.5 inches. Yeah, a little bit too big for me already, but okay. But with a 4K screen. And I don't know, I in some way I would like to call it BS, because they didn't even have a 2 or quad HD display so far. So jumping over to 4K already seems like not just a bold move but a stupid move, because right now most of the devices that have QHD are already struggling with battery life, and you also need a lot of more power to drive 4K. So which chip could there be possibly in? And for right now, the only thing I see possible enough to drive, it would still be the 810. And the 810, even with a 1080p display, as you see maybe on the Z3 Plus, manages to get pretty poor battery life. So if you already have poor battery life on 1080p, on QHD, what will happen on 4K? Will we get below maybe like 2 hours of screen on time? I don't know if that's so smart. And also, we know Samsung cameras already had the issue of overheating way too quickly. We see it now on the RX4, on their camera line. We see it on all the on all the Z phones, because my Z3, last time when it was like 35 degrees outside, I took 3 pictures and it already told me, please stop, I'm overheating. So 4K, what's it gonna be? 1 pic and that's it. Or a second long video. Oh man, I'm really excited to see. I am not sure what to think about it yet. I'm right now actually more interested in the 1080p version, because it will have the fingerprint scanner on the side most probably. The design will be pretty much the same, but I'm still just not sure about the correct SoC they will use. And I'm still blaming Qualcomm for this. They pretty much, in my respect, screwed up the whole year of 2015. All the flagships are a complete waste of money in my opinion because of Qualcomm. Yes, 808, nice, but I see from a few power users that are a little bit more sensitive to lag and so on, or speed, who the average user isn't something who sees this, but they say the 808 isn't really that fast. It is doing a good job, it is fine, but it's not fast. I haven't yet played with one long enough to make a judgment, but seeing that the 810 with normal use performed very well, and thinking back that the 808 is lower and won't maybe provide that speed, I am not so sure. So I still think this is something to see. But that's also the same thing for the next 2 phones that are kind of being leaked. The Lumia 950 and 950 XL. The 950 is supposed to be a 5.2 incher, if I remember it correctly, with a Quad HD display as well, with the 808. So if you just see, for example, the G4 has that, so resolution and power seems to be okay, battery life should be also okay, since Windows Phone also already has quite a good standby drain, power should be also okay. But one thing I'm not quite so sure, but let's get to the 950 XL before. 810, yeah, I think I said it already. Then all a 5.7 inch display, so this will be something quite a little bit bigger. But after all, it's just Windows Phone still. Yes, they will come with Windows 10, but my main gripes about Windows 10 and why I wouldn't consider using it as my daily driver are still there. Yes, it is a nice operating system with the limitations. It is very, very smooth, but what I'm missing personally is still a lot, and maybe Windows 10 will change it, but on the previews at least I didn't see anything of that. I want a more snappy, fast feel, because transitions are too slow. Multitasking with the animations and all that is just too slow. With the new processor, at least the in-app behavior could feel maybe a little bit lighter, because that's one thing. The whole scrolling behavior of Windows Phone is supposed to be super smooth, which it is, but it also every time feels a little bit artificially slowed down to have enough time to make it smooth, but therefore it always feels a little bit handicapped in terms of smoothness. It never feels light. That is one of my main issues, and of course with the caveats of the app ecosystem and all that. Personally, I would get my most basic things done, but Windows Phone is a really nice thing, but if you are a power user, I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I couldn't get everything done I want to get done. The basic things, yes, but some other things, especially with the lack of Google services, which Windows Phone isn't to blame for. Yes, I get that, totally not blaming Microsoft for that, but yeah. The last thing, not the last thing, but the last thing before the word of the day would be Blab. I don't know if you heard about it. It's some kind of hangout competition, blab.im. I saw it yesterday. Kevin the Tech Ninja was on a kind of podcast or live or whatever you can call it. It's supposed to be for 4 people right now. It seems to be very reliable. He said there were a few bugs. I can't say about it. I just heard about it yesterday. but it seems to be very well integrated with Twitter, which seems to be nice because you can easily share and you can easily get it running, which definitely is one thing if you ever were on a live hangout. It is pretty tedious to set up. You have to get right people invited, and if you do something wrong, I had this, if you maybe saw the Can't Sleep hangouts a while before, you had a lot of trouble getting things set up and working properly, and if you do one mistake, the whole stream is screwed and you have to start a new one and so on. This is supposed to be much better on Blab. I have to dig into it. I would really like to know your opinion if you ever saw something on it, if you ever used it yourself, and yeah, because it seems to be nice. And once again, I forgot to move the mic, but I'm still close enough, so sound should be okay, but I have forgotten that. The word of the day, oh wait, I just wrote down word, but I have no words. Yeah. No, I have to find one real quick. Shit. Okay, let's just make it that. Sorry. Headphone. Kopfhörer. Head is Kopf. And phone would be, I guess, Hörer. Hear. Phone is actually not, headphones is actually not hearing, but Kopfhörer, hören means to hear. So it's on your head and you hear. Kopfhörer. Sorry, I was totally forgot that, so at least I did it. It's definitely not as well prepared as last time, but I will have to go. I will edit it later. You should see it, I guess. It will be Friday, this video. So, as always, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to, reshare it, and tell me how much this sucked. And by the way, about the one video when I said if it gets 100 likes, where it is actually at 99 right now, and I will do the podcast, I hope everyone was taking that as a joke, because I personally didn't think it would get 100 with that low amount of views, because the other videos that got over 100 got a lot more views. And I didn't expect it to get about 400 views and 100 likes, which is a freaking fantastic ratio. But I really don't think you really want the podcast. I think you just gave it because of other reason. At least I hope so, because no, I don't think anyone wants me to do a podcast. If you really want to, leave me a comment, but I'm still saying, I don't think I said I will do it. I said, at least I hope so, I said I might consider it. But I leave this out in the open for you to tell me the next time. Bye.